We're on vacation. We've been on vacation.
So we have no idea what we're doing anymore.
Someone's here. A couple people's here.
Melanie's
Vicky.
here. Vicky's here. Good morning. Because if it's Monday and 8 o'clock, it's Mighty Monkey's Nerd World News. And I am your host, Lou Spiatti Sr.
Oh.
That would be difficult since he passed away about 10 years ago. Regardless, though, that's still my grandfather and I still love him dearly.
Then I'm Rachel Thayer.
There you go.
That would be Gigi.
Is that the Gigi?
That's Gigi.
I love the Gigi. I never got a chance to meet the Gigi. I feel bad about that.
She was a formidable woman.
I remember all the stories you used to tell me about her, and in the pictures, and making sure her hair was did even in the hospital. She was
hair was did, and her teeth ran.
There you go. Hello, Peter. Hello, John. My voice is still a little shot. I've been sick since before Christmas.
Yeah, no kidding. Today was the first day that I actually have my voice.
Yeah.
I did nothing this weekend, didn't do any talking, very little talking this weekend. And a coworker came in and goes, "Wow, you sound much better."
Yeah. My mom made chicken soup for me. I'm very happy about that.
It was delicious.
Yes, that was good stuff.
So, yeah.
How are you? Happy New Year. It's good to see everybody. I hope y'all are good. Hi, Greg. Shall we just jump into it?
Yes.
Okay, let's start things off. Mighty Monkey is going to present the Flower City Comic-Con September 14th and 15th of this very year, 2024. We will not be on the air 1 week from tonight because the 6 board members will be together discussing how we want to entertain you.
We have a board meeting.
We have a board meeting coming.
Yes.
Juno's Lounge, is that the new name? No, that's just basically the Mighty Monkey Nerd World News World Headquarters.
At least this week.
This week.
And a couple of weeks.
I forgot. I did forget to change that.
That's okay.
Excuse me. My voice is still suffering. All right.
Yeah.
Melanie here is we are here until the Doctor Who spoilers that we still haven't watched yet. Melanie, what kind of British girl are you? You haven't been watching Doctor Who. What?
They have been sicker than dogs over in that house.
Yeah, I know. I feel that pain.
Yes.
All right, so we're not going to talk about Doctor Who until later. We're really just going to skirt over it. But we'll get to it. Anyway, so let's jump into things. No, we don't have any guest announcement yet. We're starting to talk to agents. We're getting lists. We have people we're talking about at the moment. Unfortunately, my running gag of Mark Hamill will not happen this year because we don't have the GDP of a small third world country to actually pay for his guarantee.
No kidding. We can't even pay for Padalecki's guarantee.
Well, he's closer than Mark Hamill.
Yeah, but still well out of our budget.
That's true.
But
we can assure you that as far as guests are concerned, we're looking at
some cool ones.
We're looking at some cool names. And hey, you're going to be there. So
Melanie had a guest announcement.
Melanie has a guest announcement. Her and Greg. They'll be there. And
maybe Greg will be on stilts again.
And maybe we can have Greg there with bells on.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
And make sure you don't bring your lightsaber this time.
Well, it was Ian's.
Oh.
Yeah. But
you got it back.
I got it back. That's the important part is I got my lightsaber back.
Yes, we're going to be talking Doctor Who, but not a ton of it. So, because
Peter, pay attention. I said we're going to talk about it towards the end of the show. Come on, man. Get with the program. All right. So we're going to jump into some stuff here.
Susan Hattress.
There we go. We're going to start off weird. The Al Yankovic story wins Outstanding Television Movie Emmy.
Is it Daniel Radcliffe?
Yes, it is, because he played Weird Al in the movie. I knew we're going to get to that, too. Now that the labor strife is over in Hollywood, it's time for awards season. The Golden Globes were last night, and the next Monday, the Emmy Awards will take place.
Ooh.
This past weekend, the Creative Arts Emmys took place and took place. Thanks, Dee. There's a lot of took places here. And some of the major awards were given out early, including Outstanding Television Movie. This year, the award went to Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which was up against Dolly Parton's Mountain Magic Christmas, Fire Island, Hocus Pocus 2, and Prey. Prey was a good movie. It was the Predator sequel that was set in the past with the Native American cast, and they were amazing.
I don't watch the Predator movies.
If you ever get a chance to see Prey and you have not seen it yet, watch it. It was awesome.
However, I'll watch John Wick, but not Predator.
Okay. The film, which had Daniel Radcliffe in the role of Weird Al, is co-written and produced by Yankovic himself. telling the story of his ascent to parody artist superstardom. Backstage, when he was asked about his newly achieved halfway to EGOT status, Yankovic remarked, "It only took me 40 years. In another 40 years, I'll get the rest of them." Check out Weird Al's Instagram to see more of his thoughts on winning his first Emmy to go beside his 5 Grammy Awards. 5 Grammy Awards.
Oh, for his parody songs.
For his albums. Let me put this in perspective. Led Zeppelin has no Grammys. Queen has no Grammys.
But
Weird Al Yankovic has 5 Grammys. That's awesome.
Okay.
That's amazing.
How many does Taylor Swift have?
I don't know, but we can look that up.
I'm assuming that she's got a lot.
My voice is not going to make it through the second.
Okay, so
you're going to pick up the second one.
Okay, while you're looking that up,
I'm going to look up.
How many Grammys does Taylor Swift? Where's Dan? He'd be able to answer it.
He probably would. All right, so jumping into
the next one.
The next one. Look. There's a Cylon peeking.
Oh. You know, I actually have subscribed to the Peacock streaming service now.
What do you think of it?
Actually, it's not bad. It's only $5.90. I'm doing the $5.99 a month one.
Okay.
I did it so we could watch the football game. And the wild card game next week is exclusively streaming on Peacock. So that was kind of cool. Peacock's Battlestar Galactica reboot has a new showrunner.
Taylor has 12 Grammy Awards.
7 more than Al.
7 more than Al.
Okay. Media outlets are reporting that Derek Simmons will write and executive produce the series while serving as its showrunner. He's best known as the creator of The Sinner. It's producing the reboot through Universal Studios Group, UCP. It's been a long time getting this project running. It had been announced that it was reimagining Battlestar Galactica in 2019. Let's see. So it says Asimov hinted that the new Battlestar Galactica series may experiment with unconventional release strategies. There might be episodes that are longer than others. There might be a 3-episode arc. There might be a standalone arc that's half-hour long. They want to do what's best for each episode. So it's going to be a little different. So
it fits in with what we were talking about a few months back about the new paradigm of storytelling. With American TV so used to 26, 27 episodes per season of the same thing over and over and over and over again. But nobody really, espousing any creativity or trying to, work outside the box of a particular thing. But now with streaming shows, shorter seasons, telling stories becomes more of a priority. And these cohesive stories have been coming up and it's been amazing.
Now, Battlestar Galactica has Starbuck, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is that, and there's Battlestar Galactica, and then there's Babylon 5, and so
yes.
there are all these sci-fi shows, and then there was, I don't know if people remember, there was the TV show Space Above and Beyond.
Yes, I remember.
It was very short-lived, but it was a really cool series.
It was a fun series. I do enjoy it.
So there's
yes, Chris. Battlestar Galactica. They are working on a reboot because they want to redo it again. The 2005 reboot was apparently not enough for people, even though that was.
I think that's the one
amazing.
I was watching.
Probably was. Well, the new one that Peacock is working on hasn't aired yet. It's because they're still working on setting it up. Yes. All right, scooch over a little bit. Somebody wants to make an appearance. Come here. Come. You got to get your first appearance in the year. Puppy. And this is what you all come here for. Nobody here wants to see me or Tanya. They just want to look at, Ed Juno, who is going to be 5 years old in a couple of weeks, by the way.
Oh, are you going to live that long?
She might live that long. But yes, so 5-year-old puppy. Yeah. We don't actually have an exact birth date on her because she was a rescue.
January sometime.
But we picked arbitrarily January 17th because the vet, we got her in June of 2019. And
she was about
4 or 5 years or 4 or 5 months old at that point. So we kind of backtracked and picked a day.
Oh, say hi, Dad.
Hi. Oh, thank you. I'm being molested. That's great. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes. Okay. That's just getting worse by the moment. You are a sweet knucklehead. Okay.
Yeah.
Hollywood's all about reboots. Seem to be lacking in original ideas lately. Yeah, but see, the thing is, the mythology of Battlestar Galactica, there's so many different things you can do with it. And I think that's really not. I mean, hi, Elizabeth. I'm not too worried about the Hollywood is running out of ideas theory when they're doing stuff like this.
Because they can do
mean,
stuff with the Cylons, and they can do stuff with this, and they
Yeah.
can do stuff with that.
Different angles. And I think that's one of the charms of the 2005 series is they really kind of went in depth on the human factor, which they really didn't kind of touch on in the original series. I don't think so much.
And I mean, you can bring in new characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can still like, oh, the president was this, that,
Yeah.
the other thing, and draw on like the new generation, kind of like how like there was Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then there was Deep Space Nine, and then there was Voyager, and then there was Enterprise, and then there was whatever. So it's all under the Star Trek franchise, but yeah, a couple characters crossed over into different ones, like Q.
Well, Picard season 3 was really kind of
I still haven't seen it.
It was a masterpiece in taking the whole mythology of the Next Generation saga essentially and weaving it together. Everything that came up after Next Generation, there was Deep Space Nine references, Voyager obviously because of 7 of 9 being there. Everything that in Star Trek lore really kind of knitted together in Picard 3.
Are you okay?
You all right there, kiddo?
Bless you.
You all right?
No.
We'll stop the whole show to pay attention to the dog.
Is Timmy down the well?
Yeah, there you go. Knight Rider reboot was not good. I don't know. Oh God, that's right. There was a Knight Rider reboot and it was awful. Stephen Amell was actually in it, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was long before Arrowverse, if that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, talking about reboots though, just a small FYI that the new Mean Girls is a musical, not just a straight up redo of the original movie. Saw the stage show when it was in Rochester, and it is a delight. It's good to know, Elizabeth. Thank you for that.
They cut a lot of songs for the movie musical version of it.
Well,
it happens.
Content is a thing.
Well, I mean,
it gives them room for a sequel.
I mean, we recently went to see Aquaman 2.
Yeah. Oh God, that was bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's, and I usually check my brain at the door, just sit back and enjoy it. I'm like, it was okay. It was an
incohesive mess.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen Aquaman 2 yet, wait for it to come out on video. When it comes out on a streaming service,
so you don't pay for it.
So you don't have to pay for it any extra, right? And then you get a chance to see it at home where you can be like, oh no, this is bad. Chris and Tanya were right. We're going to turn it off now. She wouldn't let me walk out.
Deanna, even looking at Jason Momoa can't help it. He was not as much as eye candy as you think.
He didn't have as much presence in the movie, even though he was in most of the scenes, right? He didn't have
They were trying too hard to be like a Marvel.
I think so.
Yeah.
They were trying to be like a funny Marvel movie.
Yeah, you're saying he was in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like he was actually in a lot of the scenes, even though he was in a lot of the scenes.
It was more so of his brother.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a redemption.
And there was a couple of sight gags that were just so obvious and so uncalled for.
Well, it's going to be spoilers, but he calls his brother Loki.
Yeah, at one point
Come on, Loki.
He goes, "Come on, Loki," and then he made another reference in that same breath
to something.
Something about the Goonies, I think. It was. I don't remember.
I don't think it was the Goonies. I want to say it was more recent than that.
Yeah.
But I'm really like,
But anyway.
So I mean, yeah, they were like trying to.
They were trying to imply that Aquaman had watched the Avengers movies. I think that's basically what was happening there.
Could be.
Yeah, DC just needs to do DC and not try to be Marvel. DC needs to try and put together a freaking. They have good characters. I mean, I've never been a DC fan myself, right?
Ian's a huge DC fan.
I know she is. I mean, I like some DC characters. I watched the animated series, all of the animated series, and they were very good. But I've never gone out of my way to read DC comics, and I've really never gone out of my way to DC movies. It's usually because other people are going that I will go. And when it's there's my voice. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna stop talking now.
Well, we originally had tickets to go see
Dear God.
On December 22nd. Sean, you and I were gonna go.
Yeah.
But we were all sick.
Yeah.
So I refunded those tickets. It was like
thanks, Evan.
It was like $32 because I didn't have any credits left from the Cinemark thing. So I returned those, which was really easy.
Yeah.
So then we watched it that Friday, the 29th.
I think so.
Whatever your dad's birthday is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 29th. It only cost me $9.99.
There you go.
So that was much better. It was only $10 instead of close to 40.
So yeah, we weren't feeling as burned. But at one point I
Yeah.
did want to get up and walk out of the theater, and she wouldn't let me.
Well, and
I thought you liked me.
Yeah, well, I got home and they were asking, "Oh, any good trailers?" I couldn't even tell Randy what the trailers were.
Yeah, I don't remember them anymore.
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes looks like it was going to be a good movie.
And then I'm like, "Oh yeah."
I agree with you, Chris.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was that," or "Oh yeah, that was that." But I can't tell you right now. Oh, Mean Girls.
Yeah, we did see the one. Yeah.
But I can't tell you what
we saw the next Pixar movie, Wish. We saw that trailer.
We think this one or the last time?
Maybe they're all blurring together.
They are. It was just a matter of I couldn't necessarily tell you what the ones were.
So
I was like, no.
Melanie, this is if my voice was in the healthier shape, I would go spoilers and have you run for the hills.
Okay, I'll do it. Spoilers.
I'm just gonna basically glance over this real quick. The 60th anniversary of Doctor Who did occur, okay, and it was amazing. I don't think there was a bad episode in the 4-episode swing. There's the 3 episodes that had David Tennant in it, and then the Christmas special that was Ncuti Gatwa's premiere as the Doctor. We'll go into we'll go into detail a little bit more when my voice is a little stronger, because these are definitely worth talking about.
It's a good conversation.
Let's just put it this way. My mother, who has always humored my sci-fi and fantasy addiction, but is always, whenever I tell her I'm going to go see a Marvel movie, her response is, no. Her response is always, when are you going to go see a real movie? And then we'll have an argument about that. Yes, she's knitted me 2 Doctor Who scarves over the years, but she's never really been into it. So let me just tell you how phenomenally amazing it was that she actually hunkered in and took the time to watch all 3 specials, and has yet to watch the Christmas special yet, but she's looking forward to it because she had so much fun watching the 3 specials.
Well, the 3 specials were fun.
They were a lot of fun. I mean, that middle one was amazing. What?
My bestie.
Yes.
Bought me.
Yes.
The TARDIS from Hallmark.
Oh, yeah, I think you were showing me that.
And of course, she made sure that she did not buy it before Christmas. She waited until the 26th or whatever when it went on that.
So we're not going to go into too much detail because for some strange reason, it's been a couple of weeks, but there are people who still have not watched everything yet. And I'm looking at you, Melanie, and I love you. Just wanted to let you know. And you too, Greg.
I don't know if people can see that.
Yep.
But
there you go.
It's a tabletop. It's probably about this tall.
Uh-huh.
So
Jeff Knapp is on board. Hi, Jeff. Good to see you, man. But in the overall, it is time well spent. There's not a bad episode. There's not a bad moment in any of the episodes. They all flow well. The characters are interesting. The new characters are cool. The returning characters are cool. It's great to see David Tennant play a different version of the Doctor. It's not just a revamp. It's not 10 is not back. 14 is in play, right? 14 is a different person. Mm-hmm. He's everything that 10, that 11, 12, and 13 built on top of 10, and there are moments where there is genuine earnestness that you would not have seen from 10. So it's almost like 10 grew up a lot. Like he went through some shit. Mm-hmm. And so that's cool. It's not just a revamp of the old stuff. It's actual continuance.
Peter's like, he wasn't a fan of the Christmas special. The others were good, but what do the episodes have to do with the 60th?
See, here's the thing. Everybody's so used to multi-doctor fan service bullshit stuff. I'm sorry, I shouldn't use the word bullshit. It's because that's what's going on in my brain. And that's all well and good. They did it for the 10th, they did it for the 20th, and they did it for the 50th. But they didn't do it for the 25th. They didn't do it for the 15th.
30th.
They didn't the 30th, the show wasn't on the air yet. The 30th and 40th were celebrations off the air. But the thing is you don't have to have a multi-doctor special to celebrate an anniversary. Now, because I've been watching it for so long, I was able to pick out Easter eggs throughout the 3 episodes. I could see references to things that happened across the whole 60-year span of time. And afterwards, like I'm watching TikTok and Instagram videos and whatnot, I saw that other people were picking up on things that even I missed. And the reason that the Celestial Toymaker was brought back is that he was a first Doctor villain. So it's to tie this whole massive story that had unfolded from 60 years ago when the show was originally first getting going. So I think that's really kind of what it had to do with the 60th. Also, the returning of a popular actor who has played the Doctor in the past, with David Tennant's returning. Unit being involved, which sporadically would happen, but it was more of a kind of a nod to the old days, and there are cameos and there are references throughout the course of the episodes that just they give a loving tip of the hat to the series in general. So there we go. And in Mel, that's a spoiler, but yeah. But not a like a really like surprise spoiler, because people have been talking about Bonnie Langford's return to Doctor Who for a couple of months now.
Mel goes, yes, the Easter eggs were fabulous, but it was a standalone enough that it was a jumping in point, which works well with the new streamer.
Right.
Yes, it was.
Right.
I mean, you didn't necessarily need to know the history of Donna and
it's
the
celebrated
10th and things like that.
It celebrated 60 years of history of the show, but gave you a nice balance that if you were a new fan, you didn't have to feel daunted by going, oh my God, I have to go back and watch all this. No, you don't have to. You can just enjoy the foundation is being built here, and now Ncuti Gatwa is going to run with it as the 15th version, 16th if you want a little asterisk next to it and make a tip of the hat to John Hurt.
Well, it got to the point that, because Ty and I had been watching it, that now we want to go back. Well, he wants to go back, and I'm willing to go back to the first Doctor to get more information for the Toymaker and how that villain came about, because I didn't know anything about it.
Now,
so therefore,
here for those of you who love DC, here's some trivia for you. The original Celestial Toymaker in the original William Hartnell episode, The Celestial Toymaker, was played by Michael Gough, who went on to play several parts throughout his career.
He Alfred?
But he was Alfred in the, I believe, the Michael Keaton Batman movies. Yes, Michael Keaton Batman movies. And he has a son who was involved in something big too. I'm sorry, I cannot remember that.
Elizabeth says Toymaker episodes are pretty much all missing. I guess I'm not going back to the original series. I didn't really want to begin with.
I do. More for me.
So yeah.
But anyway, yes, they are amazing. Do you count David's regeneration when his hand was cut off? The Meta-Crisis Doctor is not an official Doctor. So the Doctor that spawned out of David's, the 10th Doctor's hand that got cut off in his Christmas special, was the Meta-Crisis guy that Donna instigated. And then he went off to the alternate universe to live with Rose happily ever after. And 10 burned 2 regenerations. He went from 9 to 10, and so 10 was his first regeneration. And then he burned a regeneration when the Dalek shot him, and he hung in there because the hand was there. Right
now, Donna.
Excuse me. This is really unglamorous. I apologize.
Donna, when she absorbed the Doctor's knowledge or whatever,
yes,
was that part of a regen?
That was all intertwined in with that whole special.
It's been so long I can't remember.
Yeah, it all happened in the 2-part towards the end of that series, Journey's End, and can't remember the first episode of that 2-parter. But anyway, what had happened is that throughout the course of the series, David 10 managed to get his hands on the stasis chamber that had his cut off hand, because Jack had it, right? So it was on board the TARDIS, and And then when the Dalek shot him and he was going into a regeneration cycle, he actually dumped some of the energy into the hand because it was a handy, as he said, the handy biomechanical or biogenetic biomatching receptacle, because it was his hand, right? And so he didn't have to, he could regenerate to heal himself, but he didn't have to go all the way and change because he could dump that energy into the hand. Well, the hand was primed at that point. Nobody knew this at this stage, but the hand was primed and ready to go. All it needed was a catalyst. And during the course of the finale, when everything was all the threads were weaving together and you realize it was a Dalek master plan to, try and, create the reality bomb and whatnot, they shoved the TARDIS into a crisis situation, and Donna's stuck on the TARDIS and she hears the heartbeats that she's been hearing all series long. She touches the hand and everything goes explodey. And her touching the hand catalyzes it into its own regeneration cycle. There's 10 and a half, essentially. There's the new 10 or 10. What did somebody call it? 10 light.
10 light, yeah.
But some of that regeneration energy goes backfiring into Donna. And that's how she becomes the Dr. Donna, because part of the Time Lord essence goes into her. So at that moment in time, there was essentially 3 doctors, which got Jack Harkness's attention.
He's like, wait a second.
Yeah. I can't tell you what I'm thinking right now. So it was a very complicated thing. If you were watching it, it was a very smooth, kind of cool. I thought it was I
think I'm going to have to go back and rewatch 10.
It was a very interesting way to tie all of those little loose ends together. I thought that was kind of neat. I think Metacrisis thing counted enough for the limited mention in Matt's last. Yeah. No, it was an actual regeneration, but it didn't change 10 into 10 and a half or 10 turn, so David 10 is playing 10 and 11. It was 10 burning a regeneration to stay there, essentially. What's this?
Oh, that's on our
chat bot.
Stolen Earth, Journey's End is Metacrisis Doctor, Sound of Drums, Last of the Time Lords, where the Doctor ends up with the handy spare. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. This is the most I've talked in
we did our spoilers. We're going to be spoilers, but
then you guys gratefully dragged me off to somewhere or another so we can talk about topics and talk about Doctor Who a little bit.
Yes.
So, excuse me. So Paul McGann is the 8th Doctor and Christopher Eccleston is the 9th, and they cheesed it by saying, okay, John Hurt's in the middle, because it was always originally meant that Christopher Eccleston would come back and show you what happened during the Time War. So Christopher Eccleston was supposed to be the Time War Doctor, but Christopher Eccleston didn't want any part of it. So that's led to, it was a series of events that led to them creating the War Doctor, or the Doctor of War, or the Warrior, depending on who you're talking to. And that was John Hurt stepping in as the Doctor for that one episode, and the cameo at the back end of another episode, which I thought was a great piece of history. And then they say, well, he did not see himself as the Doctor during the Time War. So that's why Paul McGann is still the 8th and Christopher Eccleston is still the 9th. Even though there's a guy in the middle. The guy in the middle didn't count himself as a doctor. And even Peter Capaldi, when Face the Raven came around and Clara was on her way out, she was facing that moment of death. And Peter Capaldi's 12 looked at me and said, the doctor's not here, you're dealing with me. So he's acknowledging that he is. There's always these times. I saw Matt Smith's 11 do it once or twice too, where the Doctor will take the moniker of the Doctor and set it aside and say, you're dealing with the Time Lord who calls himself the Doctor now, the being behind it. And I am a vindictive and angry son of a bitch. I put the Doctor in front of me and I claim to be the Doctor to try and, those are the rules that I live by. Those are the rules I live by to make a better universe around me. But every so often, I'm going to set that persona aside and let you know there's an asshole back here and he's ready to go to war. And I thought it was amazing. If the Doctor's not here, you're dealing with me. And I'm like, oh, shit.
I seem to recall catching a couple of that going, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Smith, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
Matt Smith delivered that line, good men don't need any rules. Here's what the day, this is not the day to find out why I have so many. The way he delivered that line, I was like, oh, chills. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And when David just gets ramped up and he's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that all of them have been very good at, even Jodie Whittaker as much as she was bouncy in this
Oh,
buoyant ball of
she had
energy,
some-
she had a couple of moments where you were like, oh shit, there's okay, there's the
a
doctor.
little blonde fireball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the asshole underneath that's hiding behind, this thing here.
See, now I want to go back and re-watch. I'm like re-binge it.
Can I tell you that the 60th anniversary has done something amazing in my family?
Yes.
My darling daughter, my lovely Pippin, Juliana will call me every so often because of the how much fun she had watching the Doctor Who, the 60th anniversary. She went back and started rewatching from Christopher Eccleston. And
she calls you every so
she calls me every so often asking me, well, she goes, explain this part to me, explain this. And she is just coming up on the end of David Tennant at this point. And she's not ready for me. She that's why she stopped watching it the last time.
She's going to be devastated.
So she's going to be going into new territory. She's going to be going into new territory. But I'm so proud of her because she's like becoming a full-on Whovian finally. And it's so fun. It is so fun to watch. All right. My voice is just dying here. So I'm going to call it a night at this point. But we love you guys. And like I said, we're not going to be back next week because we have a board meeting for Mighty Monkey where we're going to be talking about how much we love you and things. We're going to do that.
Ann and I are trying to get together sometime so we can actually
do some comic checking.
Right. Because we were going to do it that 27th, but I was still sick.
Yeah.
So sometime we have to figure out what we got for Christmas.
But in a fortnight, 14 days, 2 weeks, we are going to be back and we're going to be talking more stuff. And hopefully my voice will be back. So we'll do a little bit more deep dive into the 60th anniversary special. We'll talk more about the episodes, a little bit more about stuff. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. There has not been enough tea in this house these past couple of weeks. So we hope all is well for you guys. We will see you soon. You have a great week. Have a safe week. And we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. I'm going to go make a cup of tea. Bye-bye.